Hello, traders. Wanted to look at the hypos for the week real quickly, kind of show you how I go about doing that. Um, this is a weekly chart here. We're on the big W. Of course, tariff news drove us down rapidly, and then we recovered just as rapidly. Um, you can see we had 2 weeks and then a little pullback. 1 week aggressive, a little pullback. 2 weeks, a little pullback. Now we've had 6 weeks of green. 6 weeks of green and a little pullback. Well, let's view that pullback just for a second. I'm going to expand it out as big as I can without losing all the candle tops and bottoms. So right here, we had relative equal lows on the weekly chart. This came down and took them out. But it left a fair value gap here on the weekly chart, which I felt was in play last week. The fair value gap would actually run from this candle's high to this candle's low. There's no sell side offered in there, so that's why it's a fair value gap. If there was a red candle dipping down through here, it would be filled in and would not be a fair value gap necessarily. But yeah, so right now we have a gap in sell side price action right here in this area. That makes this level right here a level of importance for next week. And as far as all-time highs is just right there. I think they're going to fall this week. This red candle here was the week prior. Let's see. And it didn't take this thing out by much. I have to zoom in real close to get it exactly right. Or I can do this. Let's see. The low of this one was 803 even. 803 even. And we need to make it red. 803 even would be right over here. All right, so now it's dead on it. And I'm going to label that equal lows, relative equal lows on the weekly. Okay, because they are still relatively equal. That's not the correct low. Okay, so this one says 77975. Okay, we got to fix that. Okay, so now you can see this big red the week, it wasn't last week, this was last week, the week prior to, it only took it out by a tick. And then we have this weekly fair value gap down here that we should also label. So we'll put a text box in there. I don't know when it's going to happen, but at some point, this area will be revisited. I think we're going to still march for all-time highs. I still like that 25% extension of all-time highs, which would be up here in the 24,450 range. We're not that far from it. I'm just going to put a pie in the sky number up here just because I like that extension area. I'm going to make it yellow, and I'm going to label it 25% extension. I feel like we're going to trade up into that area before we see any significant pullback. We may see little ones like this, but I think that's where we're headed, and we're not that far off. I just put it at 24,450 is where my guesstimate is. Let me bump that up a bit. Okay. So that's what we got right now. Now we can mark out this one here. That's our all-time high. Let's see what the high of that candle is. 23,845. Okay. 23,845. Was it 24,845 even? It is dead even. All right. So there we go there. And we'll make that one blue for us because it's a high. And of course, we need to label it the all-time high. There we go. All right, so those are the levels of interest that I have right now. Now let's squeeze over to a daily chart. And you could mark these out. I'm definitely going to mark them out. I'll just go ahead and just put a line on them right now. A yellow line, a red line. And we can mark that. I'm not going to label it yet because I'm going to label it in a minute. I'm going to put one more here. And then this one will be the relative equal lows on the weekly. So we'll leave that one alone. But we can mark these. And these will be our dailies. Now let's switch to a 4-hour. Okay, so this daily is also a regular trading hour. Uh-oh, we got to change the regular trading hour. There we go. This daily is a regular trading hour, 4-hour low. So to me, that one is mucho importante. So we'll mark it. Okay, so that one's real important. This one, it's really, really close to a regular trading hour. It was that day where we almost took out the lows and we just extended just a little bit further. But I'm going to go ahead and move it up, and I'll just label it as a regular trading hour, 4-hour. I don't mark the extended hour 4 hours anymore, even though they are not insignificant. These are just the ones I've decided to focus on. But in the after hours trading, the volume is very low, and the algorithm will usually refer to these. Now this one here, if we put on extended, those are about equal. This is that last one right here, and we had it poke a little bit below. So I would even be okay with calling this a relative equal low on the 4-hour. If we go back to regular trading hours, it's these right here. See how the candles change if you do regular trading hours? So I'm going to label that as relative equal lows on a 4-hour chart right there. And it doesn't have to be exactly right. You just need to know it's there and it's important. All right. 4-hour RTH. All right. So those are my levels of importance. If we go back to a daily chart, we should see a correspondence of these. So they're relative equal lows on the daily chart, 4-hour daily, and regular trading hour. And this one is a little bit lower than that for a 4-hour daily. So that one to me would be like also important. If I move it down just a touch and just mark it as a daily low instead of a 4-hour regular trading hour low, this is one where you might see price come down and you expect it to take it, but it only takes a regular trading hour and then goes back up. So I have seen that happen a lot, and I'm like, why? Well, that's why. So I'm going to leave it there, but I'm going to keep in mind that there's a new day opening gap there. You can see there's a new day opening gap with that volume imbalance, and then it may get filled in. I could just do that and then also mark the daily as well, which is just a little bit lower, not that far. So the daily is at 503. Right there, 503. There we go. All right. So those are our levels of importance, and you see on the daily, this one even extends down a little further. But on the regular trading hour, 4-hour, it looks like a regular relative equal low right there. See how that is? So this is a level where I could see it taking that, leaving the other lows, and then ripping up higher. But either way, when it hits one of these levels, I'm looking for a reversal. So it doesn't have to be exact, doesn't have to be a perfect pinpoint. In fact, I'm going to take that one off because it can go past at a significant level, several points. And sometimes it just takes it by one tick and away we go. But it's just something worth looking at. So that my hypos, I think we're going to take out one of these levels. I would like to see it dip all the way back down into here eventually, but I think we're going to take the all-time high, extend, reach up for this line right here at 24,450. We won't get there in a day. We may not get there in a week, but I think we're going to continue to reach up for there, and then we'll have a pullback similar to what we had end of last week. Then we'll stair step back up, and we'll have us another pullback. So that's these levels right here. This one, I think the most significant level on this chart right now is these relative equal lows on the 4-hour, and that's at 23,096. If we have a day of bad news, that one could get attacked. Anyone where a 4-hour and a daily match, which this one actually, if we split the difference, it matches with that pretty close. So I'm just going to split the difference, and I'm just going to say daily as well because they're so close. So I'll label it as it would be like a relative equal low situation. So I'll just label it as such. Okay. So that's a significant level. This is a significant level, and this is a significant level. We could pull back to any of those and reverse, or we could just go higher. But when we start reversing on a high point, these are going to be our aim points to the downside. Okay. I do expect an all-time high to fall this week. Whether we come here first or not remains to be seen. When we open at 5 o'clock today, I would like to see us open lower. I haven't really looked at the news, kept up with it. That volume imbalance there, get it revisited with some downside would be nice. Ultimately, that maybe take out this one and then adios pie out of the top. That's what I would like to see happen. So I would love to buy right here and hold that sucker long. Optimal entry for me would be somewhere around 23,332. And then we go on up, and then something bad happens, like Trump says something about a tariff, and we fall out of bed all the way down to here. That's what I'd like to see happen. Something like that happened last week where we just ripped all the way down and took out these relative equal lows. So now we have some here, but these are still intact. I mean, we just took them by a tick, and we have this weekly fair value gap all the way down here too. This needs to be revisited, and it will be. Just remember the tariff news, how it hit the first time, and now all of a sudden it's not important anymore. I mean, that was several days of straight down. All right, that's it for my weekly hypos. I hope everybody stays patient this week and is able to capitalize, get some money out of the market. Remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to one another. Until next time, trade well.